Hey, this is Tarence Lauchié, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this podcast, The Growth Exchange. This podcast was designed to curate conversation, dialogue, and monologue around all things growth. I believe that everything living has the potential to grow into its fullest and most maximal potential. So let's grow. Hey, welcome back to another edition of the Growth Exchange podcast. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié, and as always, I'm excited about having guests, conversations, dialogues, and just curated conversation around all things growth. Remember, anything that's living has the potential to grow to its fullest or maximal potential. Speaking of maximal potential, I've got a maximizer in the room today. I'm elated. I think this is long overdue. It's probably part of both of our destinies that we would be sitting in the same space. And I'm honored to be able to introduce to some, present to others, Jon Wesley Covington.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank you.
The Jon Wesley Covington.
Thank you, man. Stop that.
I think we
Stop
could
that.
probably put a lot of prefixes to your name. Movie producer, radio announcer, voice expert, voice. I don't want to say voice over because you're a voice artist, as well as some other things. Talk to us about it. We're going to get into the movie.
Man.
We're going to get into the nighttime talk show. But just tell people who's listening, because my audience may not know Jon.
Yeah.
But
Well, first of all, I got a little issue.
what's the issue?
This is like the 33rd episode.
I know. I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
I am just
But
getting here.
that's a good number. 33 is a
33.
good
33
number.
is a good number. Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it? It is. It is.
I knew you were
Yeah.
going to say that. It's like 33, and I wasn't in the top.
And I'm just
I'm
getting
new
here.
at this. I'm new. We do have, this is our second season,
Yeah.
and we do have a bright future ahead of us, so this won't be your last time.
And I want to say this, and I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. You're as good as it gets, really,
Wow.
in this space. You're
that's
just,
encouraging.
but that's just, you do everything in excellence.
Well, coming from
everything
you,
in excellence. You
who's-
do everything in excellence.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Well, coming from you, who does this,
And we didn't
for a
coordinate
living.
the clothes
No,
either.
we didn't. We just
But
think
we
alike.
always do stuff like this. But anyway, go
That's
ahead.
true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Coming from you, though, that's more than a compliment, because for years I've kind of watched from a distance you do a lot of things that I've participated in when it comes to things like emceeing concerts. You know, you've had some of the greats that you had the opportunity. I was at the concert in Muskegon when Nate Glasper did the opening for CeCe Winans. And you were the MC for that event. And I was like, I like that guy. That's smooth.
yeah.
And then, of
Thank
course, listening to you on the radio, and this most recently, watching some of your work, the film Black Man. So we can start with that, or we can talk about what's coming
I'm
around
here, man.
around
I'm
the
here.
corner.
I'm not leaving. It took me too long to get here. So
we might have to
I'm
extend this
here.
episode, right?
Yeah. Part 2, with maybe a part 3. Who knows?
Well, tell us who Jon Wesley Covington is.
I was born in Muskegon, Michigan.
Yeah.
And I attended 10 schools between the grades of K through 11.
Oh, wow.
10.
Similar.
So between Muskegon and Grand Rapids, I
Okay.
attended 10 schools.
Wow.
And so I
That's
spent
the average of one a year. So
Yeah. And I spent a good part of my childhood trying to figure it out, just like I have my adulthood too.
just with some experiences behind you. Yeah.
You know, trying to figure it out, trying to navigate. But when you go to that many schools, I think one of the pluses is obviously it wasn't a very stable environment,
Right.
necessarily in the household, but you learn to adapt, and I think that's
Absolutely.
really helped me out in my adult life because I can be in a new space and just figure it
fit
out.
in. Yeah. Well, I guess the question
yeah.
is this: which came first, your ability to adapt, or the opportunities? Because it seems to me that you were born with a certain charisma that fits behind a microphone, in front of a camera, or with some headphones on, directing something, and that's what I've seen in the 20 some odd years that I've watched you. And you have the church background that gives you a sense of humility that I think is really important when you're always in public and when you're always in front. And you've got a wonderful wife who will also help to keep you humble if necessary,
Amazing.
right?
Oh, absolutely. Amazing.
She's
Absolutely.
in media too. I mean, in a sense, no.
She's more in the background of
But
things.
I thought she was a model.
She works with me. Yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
beautiful.
You guys are a
And
great couple.
yeah, thank you. Likewise.
I'm going to tell the Walmart story before we get off
Okay.
the air.
All right,
but,
good.
but yeah, tell us
There's an
more.
update on that story too.
Okay, for those who
Yeah,
might be wondering what it's all about, intriguing, interesting story to
absolutely.
see John in that light.
You know, I've never been asked that question about what came first, the opportunities or the other.
Yeah, the
But
giftedness, because the
yeah,
giftedness seems to be there.
I think that's a great question. I've never been asked that. I've been interviewed, I don't know, a couple of hundred times probably
Yeah.
in my career, during my career. But I would say probably, I think the opportunities came as a result of the other.
Okay.
I think because I've had opportunities that just didn't make sense, that I was not qualified for on paper.
But God obviously had
God
a
said,
plan,
yep,
right?
yep. And it's really for me, that's what it's been.
Yeah.
It's been all God.
Yeah.
And Pastor Poole, may he rest in peace, who was my spiritual father and mentor, died at 96 years old.
Yeah, it's a great
and
man.
the nephew of Elijah Muhammad, who was born Elijah Poole, he told me many, many years ago, the leader should be the humblest person in the room.
And he
And
exhibited that in
he
my
exhibited it.
years of being even exposed to him in the church setting. He's a preacher's preacher, but you wouldn't know it until he got to the microphone.
And he raised me,
Wow.
really.
Yeah.
He was like a father in many ways. And so I couldn't be anything other than to be humbled, sincerely. And I'm humbled and I'm grateful.
But you also stand on business and you're unapologetic. You don't take any no hostages, no prisoners, right? You just do whatever's
Humility has nothing to do with being a punching bag
that's
or
right.
being misused and
Or
abused and
marginalized or overlooked.
that's not what humility
We were teasing
means.
about being one of 3 black men in Cascade, Michigan. They might
Yeah.
even confuse us one day,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
But
people always say particularly when I'm wearing black frame glasses, "Are you
"Yo, you
Terrence?"
Terrence?"
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm John.
I've been
Yeah,
called
yeah.
John a few
Oh
times
yeah,
as well.
oh yeah, it happens.
I think it's the spirit. I really believe.
Yeah.
All of us look alike in some way. There's only a few archetypes of our features, but I think our spirits are similar in that we both like to change environments for the good. So we'll walk into a space, introduce ourselves, or maybe even introduce other people, and that is part of a profession, but it's also part of a gifting. What's your earliest remembrance of your public speaking and being this media-oriented guy?
Man, you loaded with the questions. I'm not.
That's
I'm used
what
to.
I
First of
do.
all, I'm used to asking the questions, but
Well, when
but
I come
then-
to your show,
but then
then
I'll
you
ask
can.
them. All right, which will be soon. You'll be on soon.
That's a good segue too.
Yeah, but I would say probably NAACP functions and dinners, and in Muskegon, I had an uncle. I had 2 uncles who were very involved with the NAACP.
Okay.
An uncle, Ted Raspberry,
Okay.
who was my great uncle.
He has some roots here in Grand
Yep,
Rapids.
yep, very well known here. Ted Raspberry. I traveled with him as a kid at ACP conventions, et cetera. Then I had an uncle in Muskegon whose name was Bill Gill. May they both rest in peace.
Yes.
So I said to him, I think when I was about 16, I had done some public speaking prior to that, but not with 600 or 700 people, much smaller in church and stuff like that. But I said to him one year, there was an MC there, and I said, I could do that. And so I might have been 14. And he said, okay. And he kind of dismissed it. And the next year I said, I could do that.
Wow.
And then I think the third year I said, Uncle, I would like to MC the NAACP dinner. And as a result of that, hosting the dinner, emceeing the dinner that day, I started doing gigs
So
everywhere.
this is the annual Freedom Fund dinner.
They're the annual Freedom Fund dinner.
Wow, that's a big platform.
And
How old were you
so
at that time?
I think 16.
That is a really big
Yeah, I
platform.
think
for a
16.
16-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads me to enhancing the conversation and probably even giving it a subtitle or subtext. We're talking about giftedness meets opportunity. We're talking about life circumstances that cause you to have the survival skills of interpersonal communication, because that's what it is, and then being able to monetize that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of such, you've got a show, a nighttime variety. Is it considered
Talk
variety?
show,
Talk
nighttime
show.
talk show.
Talk show. Coming to West Michigan. Tell the audience
Yeah,
a little bit about that. I'm excited about it because it's culture, across the board, but
yeah,
it's
across
also
the board.
somebody we know.
Yeah, West Michigan Tonight is a cross between Johnny Carson, Arsenio Hall, and Jimmy Fallon,
Nice.
but it's
But
based here
but
in
it's
West
Jon Wesley
Michigan.
Covington.
Yeah. And so it's all things West Michigan. And
Great.
so we've got a lot of stuff happening in West Michigan between Kalamazoo and Muskegon and Grand Rapids and everything in between. West Michigan has really got it going on.
Yeah.
And so this is a show about all that's happening, the events and the entertainers and
There's a
the
lot of growth too.
food and
There's numeric growth.
huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Fastest growing city right here
now.
in this entire state of Michigan.
I'm sure there'll be some equity and balance on how it fits cross culturally, because
Absolutely.
the PR we've had for Grand Rapids is that it wasn't favorable for African Americans, but it's turning. I've been here for 24 years, 23 years, almost 24 years, and I've seen some shifts. And I guess you've got to make your own way. I'm from the other side of the state,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some effort being made there, but the beauty of this is we get to control it,
Okay.
and you will see faces of all.
How will people be able to watch the
Potentially.
show?
They'll be able to watch it on the WZZM ABC 13 Plus app. They have an app.
Okay.
You can watch it at home on Roku. You can watch it on Apple TV. You can watch it on their app. And it also lives after the premiere episode, which is June 5th, every Friday night, 11:35 p.m., immediately after the 11 o'clock news, the live broadcast
That's the
of the
Tonight
11
Show.
across.
I love it. I
And
love
they'll
it.
throw it to us. So 11:35 p.m. every Friday night, beginning June 5th, and we have, of course, socials, and it'll live on socials following the episode pieces of the show.
And then I'm honored to know you, and also honored to be able to have this interview conversation, this dialogue prior to it coming out, because that's soon. So this will air before then, which means that it will give an opportunity for our audiences to capture you.
Thank you. Thank
in
you for
this
the opportunity.
conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to take a break in a little while. I think we got a few minutes before a break, but I wanted to get into the conversation relating specific to that giftedness I mentioned. And I want young people, young men or young ladies who are listening to say, wow, I want to be that when I grow up. And I'll tell you the story last week I went into an event and I walked in and a guy says, hey man, how are you? And like he knew me, he said, you look like Donnie Simpson. Now, I don't know if you remember Donnie Simpson.
I know Donnie.
Yeah, you know Donnie. Okay. I didn't know Donnie. I listened to Donnie. And when I was a kid,
Humble, amazing
I
guy.
listened to him on the radio every day.
In Detroit.
In
He was in Detroit, yeah.
WJLB.
Yeah.
Donnie the Love Bug Simpson. If he's listening, I want him to reach out because
We're
I'd
gonna
love
make sure
to
he
interview
sees
him.
this.
I would absolutely
Yeah,
love
we'll
to
make sure
interview.
he
If I
sees
had
it.
the honor of interviewing him, it'd be great.
I think we can make that
When
happen.
I was a kid, I would call on Sunday nights and say, could you play Earth, Wind, and Fire Reasons? But Donnie Simpson was the person who I patterned him, and James Ingram, Jim Ingram, was a commentator, drum beat commentary. And this was an orator that actually had an African drum playing in the background, and he would speak to social and political issues. And I was a kid, like 10, 11 years old, listening to the Donnie Simpson show, and he would have drum beat commentary. And then later I got to meet or become familiar with Tavis Smiley and those other broadcasters. But it really,
time as well.
it sparked an interest in me as a kid. What you're doing right now is firing some kid up to want to be in media and to do shows and MC things.
And I hear from young people quite often. There was a kid who was going to be a speaker at one of the big functions here in West Michigan involving African American males, African American young men, high school age. And so he had done some research and found me on the internet and reached out to me. And he had reached out to several of us, people that he had researched, and I was the only one that responded.
Well,
And I let the others know that he had reached out to him once he told me, because I know the folks he reached out to. And I think it's important, and I didn't say that to to downplay anybody's schedule or anything because I don't know, But I say that to say that we have to avail ourselves
Absolutely.
to those who are coming along behind us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's just important because how will they know and how will they learn?
Well,
and how will
somebody opened the door for us, or somebody made
Absolutely.
a pathway for us.
Absolutely.
Whether we got a chance to actually meet them or not, we watched and saw
Yeah.
a role model
Yeah.
as Black men, and that's
Yeah.
going to be our segue. We'll take a break, but when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the movie that you've done, the film, the documentary. But we'll also talk about an upcoming summit, of which we have two of them actually that we have an opportunity to participate in together. So we're going to take a quick break in just a moment. We'll be right back in this conversation with Jon Covington. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié with the Growth Exchange Podcast. Hang on, we'll be right back. This episode has been brought to you by the Growth Center, Inc., celebrating more than 20 years of making a difference. The Growth Center's mission is to impact the community and the world through meaningful partnerships, which offer resources, life skills training, and other programs that strengthen individuals, families, and communities. The Growth Center is committed to developing a Christ-centered program that helps individuals grow in every area of their lives. It makes global impact, youth development, personal empowerment, financial fitness, and scholarship promotion. The Growth Center, Inc. at www.thegrowthcenterinc.org. And we are back. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié with the Growth Exchange Podcast. I'm talking to Jon Wesley Covington. I have to put the Wesley there because there's another Jon Covington out there, apparently, that does some things in film. He happens to be of European descent and a lot more light-skinned than you are. So there's only one Jon Wesley Covington, and I'm honored to have you here. We were talking a little bit about your work, and you have made an impact, obviously, on many, many people, and still continue to do so with the West Michigan Tonight Show coming up in June. The first show
June 5th.
June 5th.
Yeah,
June 5th. Want to make
11:35
sure that that's out there. But we were also talking about your work with the Black Man, the documentary film that I had an opportunity to see. It's also some intersectionality on research work that I did for my doctoral degree on self-efficacy and perceived personal success of adult African-American males who've experienced fatherlessness. You know how those doctoral titles are long, but it just has to do with the impact. And the film captured it immensely. Let's talk about the film because it's going to be a part of the F3 Symposium.
Yeah. Well, the film's traveled all over. It's Black Man, and I talked to several Black men from a small town in the Midwest about their loves, lives, longings, losses, America.
Wow.
It's a roller coaster, and it's not what people think it is. So they come see it, and they go, whoa, I don't know what I expected, but that ain't it. That ain't what I was expecting.
It's quite real.
It's real, and it's in your face, and it's not a lot of B-roll. It's not a lot of stuff, and it's not a lot of this and that. It's them. It's the brothers on screen, and they're right in your face, and you cannot deny them.
With no filters.
No filters. Nope. It's not pretty. It's just who they are. If they're not pretty, then we didn't pretty them up.
Right. Well, no, it put it like this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It went from pretty to being just beautiful.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because I resonated with many of the testimonies, but I also identified reasoning behind some of the men who were in the film, and their whole life presentation, who they are, is as a result of what they've experienced. And I was sitting there, and all of my doctoral research, I mean, I'm talking 6 years worth of research, beginning to twirl and swirl on the inside. And I'm going, this needs to be coupled up.
Because you didn't know any of that before
I
you sat
had
there.
no idea that there was such a resource or a film. So we get an opportunity to do some work together
Yes, sir.
at the Black Male and Boys Conference in Battle Creek.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, which we're going to talk a little more about it.
Yeah,
So,
looking forward to it.
but the following week, we'll be doing the F3 Symposium, and that's on the 20th of June, where we'll show the film, and then we'll have some panels, some discussion. Let's talk about that film. What inspired you to do it, and how has it impacted you?
I was hired to do a 3-minute loop for the Muskegon Museum of Art. And it was one of those things where if you got time, go talk to John. Some of my brothers, Rodney Savage and others. Yeah,
I
you,
know
Rodney. Yeah, that's my brother. I'll talk to him some other time. But those who did.
I've been trying to get Rodney as a guest.
Yeah. Yeah,
Call
definitely need
call
to
me
make
back,
that
Rodney.
happen.
Call
Yeah,
me
yeah.
back. No.
Well, we're gonna send them a group text.
Okay.
Yeah, but their conversations, those who decided to come talk to me, it just started evolving, and it turned into something else. So I would ask a question
No,
and
they were coming to talk to you for this
loop for
reel,
this
a loop
brief loop, this 3-minute loop.
for an
To
exhibit
to
at the museum
yes,
during Black History. Was it Black
it was
History?
called Sons,
Okay.
and it was the modern African American male,
Wow.
and they wanted people from the community, and they had this long list of people who were doing still photos for the still art exhibit, and they just wanted a 3-minute loop to accompany the exhibit while people were waiting to go in to see the exhibit.
Okay.
So about 2 people in, I went in and told the CEO at the time, I said, I think this is more than a 3-minute loop.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's how the documentary was born. And so for the next 4 years, we had earlier versions, earlier iterations of it, and I would go in and tweak it or add somebody. I wanted younger guys to be a part of it. So I worked on it for like 4 or 5, 6 years to get it where it is now.
Well, it's definitely complete and thorough, and it does a great job of unearthing. And when I say unearthing, I sat in one of the screenings, and there was a young man sitting in front of me who, at the end of the film, opened up and just shared some of his life experience with the judicial system. And ironically, one of the judges that he had encountered was in the room on the panel, and it was like a
And the
peacemaking
judge
experience.
was sitting literally directly in front of him.
Isn't that bizarre?
And when he realized it, he said, "What in the world is going on?" But he wept.
But those are
at the
those
end
are
of
God, I know he did, and I
Yeah,
think
he
those
wept.
are God moments. Now, while he wasn't in the film, the judge nor the young man, neither was I, but we all resonated with what was on that screen. How many men were totally involved in that when you did the interviews with the finished product?
Gosh, think about 20. What was it about 20? What's 3 dozen? Shy of 3
24.
dozen.
So-
No,
No, that's
24 is
2
2
dozen.
dozen.
Right.
Math wasn't.
That wasn't my
math
strong
didn't work
suit.
for either one of us. Huh?
Neither one. Give me the microphone, not the math book.
Yeah.
No.
So it was just shy. I think it was like 27 or 28, just
Okay.
shy of 3
Yeah.
dozen. I think
Okay.
it's terrible that I don't know.
The
I'm
interesting
upset
thing
with
about
it
those-
so much. And
Yeah, I
don't
know
that.
you mentioned numbers and my brain freezes.
Yeah.
The content was unmistakably orchestrated by God and their willingness to be open and transparent. And I want to bring that conversation kind of into a current space because it's not a happy conversation for most people, but it's definitely liberating to not only hear conversations, but also to participate in dialogue. And that's what the F3 Symposium is all about, of which you're going to be a part of that. And I'm just honored that that film captures most of what I've been trying to say. I've been around the country a little bit with my academic presentation, presenting it as a paper in conferences and things like that. But this is where the rubber meets the road, and your brother, your uncle, your
visual,
cousin, your
yeah.
nephew, your son, your stepson, the son that you don't even know is your son, because that's a conversation that comes up as well. I had my own experience with parental revelation, or paternal revelation is what I like to call it. Talk to that. Speak to what made you want to take it deeper, because you opened up a lot of emotions.
That wasn't the plan.
Okay.
I didn't know that I was going to do that. And when you talk about those moments and God moments, and which has really been it's been the orchestrator really of my journey. Because like I said, things have happened to me that don't make sense. Like it couldn't have been anything but God. Opportunities and places and people and things. So it was just one of those additional God moments where I felt like I was directed, and I feel like I was chosen for this. Like I was supposed to do it, which is bizarre because most of my entertainment life has been elsewhere.
Okay.
I live in West Michigan, but a lot of my work is on the West Coast or elsewhere. And so to have such a meaningful project take place in my backyard where I grew up is kind of bizarre. That's not something I ever would have thought
Yeah.
or something that I didn't expect. So I feel like I was chosen to birth this thing. And as a result of that, it was just organic to go deeper. It was organic to if they went left to go left with them, or if it looked like just based on expression, because you can tell a lot about what somebody's feeling or thinking just by looking at them,
Yeah.
connecting with them.
Well, it was obvious that you were in tune with them in the conversation, and I want to give witness to or second the motion that it was a God thing. We call those Kairos moments. That's when God interrupts our chronological calendars of life, and He begins to interject
Done
a
a
moment.
lot.
And He did that in this particular instance because I don't think on the film we don't hear you asking the questions. We hear them giving the
Yeah,
responses.
I speak very little.
Right, and their
Verbally, you hear from me
responses,
very, very little.
their responses are right there,
Mm-hmm.
and they pull you into every emotion that those men have felt, and hundreds of Black men have felt,
Yes.
if not thousands,
Yes.
generationally.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
had multiple generations
Yes.
represented.
Yes.
You have that in the documentary, which I believe is essential because I come from 3 or 4 generations of fatherlessness or father wounds or
Nobody would ever know
impacts. Yeah, yeah.
Nobody would
And-
ever know it.
and-
Typically, I can spot that a mile away.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
God moment. God
Yeah.
literally connected
Yeah.
me with fathers, literally men that could father me spiritually first and foremost, and then looking at the other men's accomplishments, achievements, goals, and making deposits along the way. That's why I think it's so essential for us to spend time with these discussions because you never know how you're making a deposit into the lives of somebody who needs it, didn't even know they needed it, or didn't even know they were going to experience it, you know?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to this listening audience? I know it's a marginal group in comparison to the vast audiences you've had an opportunity to be a part of or to be in front of. What would you like to say to a listener?
I think, first of all groups are important, and it's not really about the number. That doesn't really matter to me whatsoever. Like, I'm totally honored to be here on your show. So, and I'm back anytime.
Yes,
You will have me.
in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's right. That's
On a
right.
panel.
I'll be back. Yeah,
we'll-
and looking forward to it. I would say to the viewer that you don't have to have it all figured out to take a step in the direction that you know you're supposed to be going in as it relates to your life, your relationships, your career. I have never had it all figured out ever. But what I have had is just a little bit of faith,
Makes sense.
just a little bit.
Makes sense.
And then as I take a step, the next step is revealed. And I say it that way so that the person sees it in their head, a stair step. Typically, if it's a stair, if it's a stairs of any length, right? You can't see all of them when you start at the first step. You can't see all of them. Now, if it's 3 or 4 stairs, maybe, but you can't see all of them. So you take a step up and you take
faith.
the next one in faith.
Yeah.
And so we exhibit faith in so many ways, but some of the ways that we need to live the life that we're capable of living, we back up from that.
Yeah.
When we get on the plane, I've been on a plane, three or four of them in the last week. I didn't know the pilot. I
Exactly.
didn't go to school
You
with
simply
him.
trusted that they were going to get you from point A to point B. John, I got to say this because you saw me smiling while you were talking and describing the stairs. I'm a very visual person. God even deals with me with vision. All I could think of while you were talking is Langston Hughes' Life for Me Ain't Been No Crystal Stair. And as you described
heavy.
a
You're so
modern
heavy,
day
brother.
version of that orated piece, that was one of the first stage presentations that I did. That and Frederick Douglass's speech on the July Independence Day speech. But I just thought about the challenges of the staircase, going to the next level or moving forward to get from one place to the other. And one of the things that I think is vital, and you can weigh in on this quickly, is that stairs are two-way. You go upstairs and you go downstairs. And there's a lot of different ways to proceed up the stairs and proceed down the stairs. Talk a little bit about
Well, I would add another analogy to that when you say that up and down.
yeah.
I would also say to the viewer or the one who's listening is life is full of positive and negative, right? Your car battery has two posts.
Positive and negative.
It has a positive and a negative. Will it start the car if one of them is not present? No.
Absolutely.
You need the positive and you need the negative. And so the negative really empowers us as well on how you utilize it. But too often we allow it to get us in a place where we're stuck versus utilizing it for our good, like that car battery.
Sure. Or we compound the negativity and make it larger than the positive when all you need is just a small amount of negativity.
Small amount.
That will push you into the positive
Small
if you
amount.
take it properly. You've been a positive force, just in inspiring so many people. Your voice in and of itself, your presence, but then also your dream. Your dream.
Thank you.
Tell him the dream, Jon. You know, you say, tell him about the dream, Martin.
Tell him about the dream,
Tell him
Martin.
about the dream, Jon, and then we're going to close out with that. Give me the dream, Jon then, Jon now, and Jon in the future.
Jon then and Jon like 2 days ago, figuratively,
Lost his phone.
has just been no, it was stolen.
Stolen.
I didn't lose
That's
it.
right.
It was stolen.
That's
There's
right.
a difference.
That's right. That's the Walmart story, which we'll have to bait them
we'll
to
have
come
to,
back and
because
listen
this time
to.
is going by too
Because
fast.
I saw him at Walmart after his phone had been stolen. But go ahead.
Yeah, crazy. They stole it at the gym and then took it to Walmart.
To sell it in one of those machines.
Yeah, like the ATM phone machine.
But I'd have to say this: you and your wife, you and
Sleuths.
Miss CC,
We're
y'all
sleuths.
y'all turned into detectives
Detectives,
immediately.
sleuths. We're
and they
detectives, I'm
figured it out.
telling you.
You cracked the case and retrieved your phone.
Yeah, the police and everything got involved. But anyway, dream wise, I'm at the stage now where my dream is to fulfill my purpose fully.
Amen.
And as it relates to West Michigan tonight, that was something that God gave me
Okay.
clearly. And I heard from God, I think as clear as I ever have. And we have a good thing going, God and I. We cool.
Yeah. He said you talk to him, he
Yeah.
talks to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
we got a thing going. But he said, build a bridge.
Nice.
I was like, build a bridge? And I have to build a bridge in the way that I know how, in the space that I'm familiar with, in the space where I have relationships that I can utilize, et cetera, right? And that's how West Michigan Tonight came about. So my desire, my dream is, at this point in life, because I got 2 grandkids,
Yeah.
is to be as present and available where they're concerned. And the best way for me to do that is to have a vehicle that I've created close by while building a bridge. And so I just want to do what it is that I'm supposed to do. But I found that when I do what it is that I'm supposed to do, which is my dream, is that everything becomes available to me.
Yeah. It opens up.
It opens up so much.
That's just how God works.
It opens
Yeah.
up so much. It's just it's crazy, and I'm living it.
Yeah.
And I've been living it, even despite myself, because I've blown up some stuff foolishly throughout my life. We can talk about that too. Another
Through your
time.
own ignorances and mistakes, right? I think we've both been there.
Man, I've blown some stuff up.
Yeah.
You hear me? That didn't need to be blown up.
Yeah.
Foolishness and stuff. And so I want the viewer and listener.
That's your repentance moment right there, right?
Man.
Well, in order for the dream to live, you got to be realistic about its life, expansiveness, and like the stairs, up and down. There is a phrase that you used, and we'll close on this. You said you're just trying to figure it out. That's a Gen Z term kind of thing, or Alpha generation term. But translate that to those of us who are Boomer Xers. We're right on the cusp of Boomer Xer. What does it mean to figure it out? We're talking about trying to fulfill the dream, fulfill the purpose, connect with your faith, and also your future. Figuring it out. Are there tools? Are there steps?
Yeah, we've talked about that faith component You got to believe that you're capable
Yeah.
of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Right. Some people are just going about. Right.
Every day, just doing
going
something
about.
different,
Just
yeah.
going about. Like a ghost or like a dead man walking.
Wow.
Not really believing that they can get somewhere from where they are because it's so dark or because it's been so painful. And I'm here to say I'm a witness, because the thing about blowing stuff up, you can have what appears to be, you got it all. And I still know people, self included, that have blown some stuff up and it wasn't necessary. You understand? Like,
yeah.
it wasn't necessary. Things were fine.
Yeah.
And I just went and
Blew
it up. You know, some people say that's how wars are started.
You're
People go
destructive
and
and didn't
just
know it.
blow things up
Yeah.
when it wasn't necessary. So trying to figure it out means that you have a desire to get to the next place that you're supposed to be in.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Well, we know that the next place for you is definitely up. The next place for you would be watching the show. That's going to be aired on June 5th.
11:35
June
p.m.
5th, 11:35 p.m.
Download the app.
All right.
13 plus, WZZM 13 plus. They're doing full cross promotion. So if you tune in the ABC affiliate, you'll see us all over the news and there are other shows and full promotion. Our very first guest is Julia Dragas, who is the longest running anchor in West Michigan TV.
Nice.
She's our very first guest. And so we're looking forward to, you're going to find out things about her that you didn't know.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think that you're going to do a great job in your interviews as well as just the cadre of guests, because you know everybody, or everybody knows you. And I'm honored to know you. As the old saints would say, I'm just glad to know you, John. Just glad to know
My
you.
brother.
Thank
I love
you so
man.
much.
Thank
Love
you for
you too,
having
man.
me.
Thank you
I really
for being
appreciate
here.
Time went too fast, so.
Hey, we'll do it again.
All right.
We'll do it again. For
You know
sure.
I'm around the corner.
For sure. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Listen, you have been tuned in to another episode or another edition of this podcast entitled The Growth Exchange. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié, and as always, my words of encouragement to you is let's grow. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Growth Exchange. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié. It's been a pleasure to have these conversations and dialogues with our guests. If you notice, one thing we all share in common, and that is the ability, the desire, and the potential to grow and maximize our fullest potential. So keep tuning in. Share this with somebody, like it, maybe even invite somebody. And if you'd like to be a guest, contact us with the information that's here and available for you. Let's grow.